This very severe cyclone made landfall near Balasore and Dhambra port. Currently, it's about 15 kilometers away from Balasore. The current wind speed at the moment is 130 to 140, gusting to about 155. The landfall process has finally been completed. It started around 9 o'clock this morning. It has just been completed. It took a little over 3 hours for the landfall process to be completed. The areas which have been impacted are in fact Balasore, Bhadrak, also areas of Mednipur as well as South 24 Parganas along with Jagat Singhpur. Those are the areas which are in the line of fire. Very heavy showers have been seen in those areas. More rain to follow, and this very severe cyclone is to weaken into a severe cyclone. However, it will continue to remain in the category of a cyclone till about 6 o'clock in the evening. It's only after 6 o'clock in the evening will this weather system lose its strength and its status of a cyclone. It will weaken further. It will then become a deep depression, and then from there on into a depression. It will move towards Jharkhand. Today is going to impact areas of Odisha, mainly the northern part. Also, it will start to impact areas of Jharkhand. However, the maximum impact by tomorrow will be felt in Jharkhand, and then from there on in Bihar. Very heavy showers are expected in those two areas. A red alert warning has been sounded for those areas for tomorrow. And from there on, this weather system will make its way towards East Uttar Pradesh, and that is where it's going to be impacting at the end of this storm, which started in fact brewing in the Bay of Bengal. It has made landfall. The entire process took over 3 hours. We have Monideepa with us, joining us from Kolkata. Monideepa, the worst is over. The situation as far as Kolkata is concerned seems to be improving. However, the airport is shut till this evening. What kind of impact did you see around you during that landfall?
Well, in Kolkata and Howrah, which is the area that I was in during the landfall, during the hours of the landfall, honestly, just some rain, sometimes severe, strong winds, and on the Hooghly River, you could certainly see the impact of the surge. Waters rushing in, high tide, there's a lunar tide going on right now. That, along with the surge, sea surge, that the Met Department said could push out waves as tall as 13 to 14 feet. That certainly was something we could all see. Just that management by the municipal authorities has ensured that Kolkata is not flooded this time round, unlike 1 year ago during Cyclone Amphan. Now, besides Kolkata and Howrah, which have got off lightly, the worst impact seems to have taken place in East Midnapur district and South 24 Parganas. And we are getting reports from Fraserganj, which is bang on the tip of the ocean, that, the inundation that is happening after the landfall, that is what is a huge problem. Village after village inundated by the rising waters of the rivers, of the sea, and people who had sort of straggled and not gone away. People were seen, there are pictures coming through of people running to shelters that they had skipped all these hours ago. So big concerns over there about the kind of damage to property that may happen because of the inundation more than the wind and the rain. Inundation is the big problem. Also in Digha, the entire town of Digha is flooded, the entire town of Mandarmani is flooded, and also the villages adjoining. Meanwhile, from Odisha also, though detailed reports of the interiors are yet to come in, we are hearing that the impact of the cyclone so far appears to be a little gentler than apprehended. And of course, remember, Odisha has this terrific system in place to manage these crises, having managed something as vast as Super Cyclone 1999 as well. So Odisha reporting that things are under control. The big target, of course, of both the administrations was zero casualty. So far in Odisha, we have not heard of any casualty. In Bengal too, today, we have no information on casualties. But yesterday, thanks to a tornado-like formation over Hooghly district and Hali Shahar in South 24 Parganas, 2 people were electrocuted at Pandua in Hooghly district. So 2 lives have been lost so far. Hopefully, by the end of the day, that is the figure that will still remain. That is the big concern of the government. Damage has been huge. We are expecting Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee to meet the press shortly and update on the extent of damage that Cyclone Yaas has caused.
Manideepa, about 11.5 lakh people have been evacuated from vulnerable places in West Bengal, and this must have been a double whammy given the fact that we are going through this pandemic.
Yes, indeed, 11.5 lakh here in Bengal and over 8 lakh in Odisha. Those are the 2 figures we have. Bengal has some 4,000 shelters, and Odisha also has a huge number. And in both the states, the focus, of course, on the pandemic that is ongoing. I mean, Bengal is in lockdown mode even as we speak. So the focus has been on ensuring masks, sanitizers, and other requirements be provided at all the shelter homes that have been put into operation. The other big concern is, of course, has been hospitals. There were great fears of power outages at hospitals, which is something no hospital can afford. So the government had sent out circulars that hospitals issue statements of compliance that they had an alternate source of power. Right. So diesel generators were put in place, diesel supply ensured, and supply of oxygen and medicines.
Right. Thank you so much, Manideepa, for joining us with all those details.